Morning and good Shabbos, everyone. This week the Jewish people go out of Egypt. And the Torah tells us that when the Jewish people left Egypt, the dogs did not bark. Normally when there's a mass exodus, the dogs start howling, but the dogs did not bark. And therefore the Torah tells us that we should reward the dogs. How do we reward the dogs? Says the Torah that when a Jew has non-kosher meat that they cannot eat, they should feed it to the dogs as a reward for the fact that the dogs did not bark. There's another animal that gets rewarded, and that is the donkey. The Torah says that when you have a donkey, a firstborn donkey, the donkey is holy because God spared the firstborn of Egypt. And because the donkeys carried the gold and the silver and all of the belongings of the Jews when they left Egypt with great wealth, especially after the splitting of the sea, when they collected all the spoils of the Egyptians that washed ashore, to reward the donkey, the Torah says the donkey is holy. And therefore, you shall redeem the firstborn donkey with a sheep. Ask Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, why is it that the dog gets the non-kosher meat, but the donkey becomes holy and redeemed? Seemingly, the donkey is getting a greater reward than the dog. Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld answers and he says that the dog kept quiet. It didn't bark. And that's something passive. And because it did something passive, it constrained itself and did not howl at the Jews when they left Egypt. It merely gets the non-kosher meat. However, the donkeys allowed the Jews to put their belongings on their backs, to schlep it out of Egypt. And when you give your back, when you give a hand, and you help someone else carry and lift their burdens, then you become holy. And therefore the donkey, the firstborn donkey, is holy and needs to be redeemed. And the lesson is that we all have within ourselves barking dogs and stubborn donkeys. And part of the message of the Exodus from Egypt is that we have to learn at times how to control our barking dog within. To remain silent, not to say certain things that we should not say, even if we have the urge to say it. And for that we will be rewarded. But the ultimate reward is when we help carry the burdens of others in life, when we help support others, and we share with them. Because as they say, a joy shared is a joy doubled, and a burden shared is a burden halved. And so therefore we have to harness the donkey within ourselves to lend a hand to others in need. And even the donkey is rewarded for schlepping the belongings of the Jews in a time that they didn't have moving trucks and they had to leave Egypt. They became the movers in helping the Jews go out of Egypt. There's a story I heard this week about a rabbi that is so amazing that it's almost hard to imagine. But this is a verified story. There's a great rabbi in Philadelphia. His name is Rabbi Kamenetsky. He's known as the Rosh Yeshiva of the Philadelphia Yeshiva. And sadly, he lost his wife this week at the age of 92, Rebbetzin Temi Kamenetsky. On Sunday night, he had an appointment with a man who came to talk to him about some marriage problems he was having. When he arrived in his house, he said to this man, I need to go visit someone in the hospital. Maybe we could drive together and I'll talk to you on the way to the hospital. And the man said, I'll be happy. And he took the rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva, in the car, and they drove to the hospital. And they spoke about his marriage problems on the ride to the hospital. When he got there, he said, I need to go visit someone. I'll be back soon, if you don't mind waiting. The man had a lot of respect for Rabbi. He said, I'm happy to wait for you. Over an hour later, the rabbi came back down. He sat down in the car, and he told the driver, my wife just passed away. I just said goodbye to my wife. He says, I can no longer fulfill the mitzvah of shalom bayis, of having peace and harmony in my marriage. Sadly, that mitzvah has now ended for me. Let me help you fulfill the mitzvah of shalom bayis, of peace and harmony in your marriage. To be able to help another person go through their difficult challenges and put aside whatever personal struggles you're having and focus on the needs of another person, that is the holiest level that anyone could achieve. And therefore even the donkeys are rewarded by becoming sacred because they help the Jews carry their burdens. When you see someone in need, lend a hand and do a mitzvah. Have a good Shabbos.